All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. It is Uncle Makara, all relations. Let's get started today with an incredible topic. And today we're speaking all about, all right, guys, all about, I knew there was going to be a playback, the karmic feedback loops, how to deal with karmic feedback loops, and the sacred act of commitment. Okay, to commit yourself to something. What does it mean? We're going to break it all down today. Thank you to our adept Mathis who'd asked this question as a part of the video vault of videos of Primal Sutra. We are Primal Sutra, a mystery school for masters in the making. Welcome. Hey there, babe. Let's go. Let's go. We are the calm within the chaos. We are the rebirth of ancient codes through modern consciousness, part sacred dojo, part spiritual research lab, part mythic renaissance. We're not here to coddle, we are here to awaken, to alchemize fear into flow, to transmute our pain into power, to weaponize wisdom, and to burn the masks of mediocrity. That's who we are. We are the adepts, the initiates, the energy athletes, the shadow shamans, the cosmic hackers, the myth makers, the trauma transformers. We come from different paths, but we are bound by one vow to remember who we truly are and activate that truth in every dimension of reality. Our mission is to guide 1 million souls from fear to flow, to restore sovereignty to the spiritual misfits, the gifted rebels, the ones who don't fit in, but were born to stand out, to fuse ancient Tantra, the Tao, Vajrayana, with modern psychology, flow science, and metaphysical embodiments, to become living sutras, right? Not just reading the scrolls, but becoming the spell. So what do? We run activations, rituals, transmissions, and flow training protocols. We channel deities and guides and primal archetypes to awaken our multidimensional selves. We teach what most fear to whisper, because power unclaimed becomes poison. This is not a place of ego or escapism or a cult or, well, you could maybe claim that it is a cult, okay? But where every trauma becomes training, every heartbreak becomes initiation, every moment becomes sacred because we are Primal Sutra. And we didn't come here to play nice, we came here to remember the source, to reforge ourselves and realign the world. All right. Now there's this Sanskrit root word, rasa. You might have heard of it, right? It means flavor, essence, nectar. And a rasika is one who relishes in the sacredness in all experience. Think about that, really, right? Someone who sees beauty in chaos, someone who sees poetry in the darkness, someone who feels God in the sensation. You see, a Rasika doesn't escape the world, they devour it slowly with awe, right? So, how do you awaken your inner Rasogya, the knower of essence? Stop intellectualizing knowledge and start tasting it. Feel each emotion fully. Don't rush sadness. Don't cling to joy. Breathe into your experiences like they're holy moments. Ask yourself daily, what flavor is this moment? You see, your body's not a problem to solve, it's a temple of perception. Practice conscious pleasure, eating, dancing, bathing, sitting. Learn to move like honey throughout your day. That's real vinyasa, right? Vinyasa is a type of flow yoga where each move connects with the next move. So the whole thing looks like one continuous flow, right? Imagine if you could move like honey throughout your day and speak like music, let your senses become gateways to source, right? So we train our nervous system for ecstasy, not just survival. Bliss isn't accidental, it's a trained capacity, right? Many people use tools, breath work, mantras, cold plunges, sound baths, right? Expanding your tolerance for joy. Yes, joy has a ceiling, and you're going to break it. To be a Rasika is to be a lover of the divine in form. Sing to your pain, dance your prayers, write love letters to existence. Every act becomes a ritual, every word becomes a vibration, right? Because, of course, there is a structured path there, right? To live with the Rasika Sankalpa or the intent that I am here to taste God in all things, especially where others see none. Bliss is my weapon, wonder is my revolution, and I refuse to numb myself just to survive this world. I will feel everything and transmute it into nectar. Thank you for sharing the link, babe. I appreciate that. And in a world that teaches you to kind of mute yourself, stay quiet, bliss becomes a defiance in a culture addicted to suffering. True, authentic, long-lasting pleasure is prophecy. You see, to be a Rasika, you turn your nervous system into a temple, your emotions into devotion, bhakti, and your life into a divine theater that you're living. So what if I told you that every coincidence was just a cosmic whisper, that the universe has been screaming your name in code, but you've just been very domesticated to hear it? Love you too, babe. That song, that number, that stranger who said exactly what you needed, it's not a chance. It's not, randomness. It's proof. A little crack in the matrix, right? A flicker of divine intelligence bleeding through the simulation. Glimpses of the reality that's beneath the reality. And you were just born seeing it, and they shut it down with school, with shame, with science that forgot how to wonder. They taught you to fear magic, they taught you to worship the machine, and now you're remembering again. You're starting to see the numbers, you're feeling the pull, and that's not madness, that's just a divine firmware booting up. It's a signal, and you were never just meant to exist, you were coded to decode, right? So ask yourself, how many signs must appear before I trust my own knowing? You don't need another lecture, you need a map made of memory and fire, a way to navigate the whispers, to turn signs into systems and intuition into action. Synchronicities aren't these cute little things, they're commands. The universe doesn't play games, it tests, it initiates. And if you ignore the signs, then you fall back asleep. And if you follow the signs, you enter the myth that you were born to live. You're lore maxing now. And you are not lost, you're being summoned. The veil is thin, the code is live, the time is now. See the signs. Okay? Most people are not living, they're looping. This is where your question comes in, Mathis, okay? The karmic feedback loops. Echoing old data dressed in new disguises. Okay? Same trigger, same person, new job, same burnout. What they call life is actually a karmic boomerang, right? Patterns returning to sender until they finally wake up and claim it. So these loops that you're in aren't curses, they're divine notifications. Bing, 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 right? Little push alerts from your soul saying you're still outsourcing your power, still trying to dodge your dharma while begging for peace, still seduced by short-term comfort, right? It's difficult, man, right? And I know you want to break the loop. Then break the lie that your life is random. Your pain has poetry. Your detours have design. But until you trust your sacred assignment, the universe has no choice but to press repeat. So this is where trusted commitment becomes like the nuclear option, not just vague intention, but not spiritual tourism, right? Through every healing modality, but an uncompromising all in yes to your soul's encoded trajectory, right? Let me show you this guy, Premanandaji, right? You might have seen him on social media, but this guy, right? Look at this laughter, right? It could be laughter, it could be crying, it could be, it could be anything that we project onto it because this is pure rasa, a bliss, a release, a satori. You guys get this? So we're not talking about like a Pinterest board or like, some kind of a feedback loop is not a costume party, right? A feedback loop mutates into a feedback flame. It burns away all confusion because what once felt like sabotage reveals itself as actually sculpting you for something. What is it sculpting you for? Karma stops being punishment and starts becoming precision. Because here's the paradox, your karmic loop isn't here to punish you, it's here to train you, right? To upgrade your discernment, to help you recognize your own sacred patterns instead of being victimized by them. So if you're caught in a repeating cycle, you don't ask, why is this happening to me again? Why is this happening? Instead, you ask, what sacred vow have I been avoiding, right? What part of my soul's curriculum am I skipping class on? What am I still scared to commit to? Because once you say yes to that, the loop starts, the lesson completes, the gates open, and destiny no longer has to disguise itself as delay. So burn the loop, blaze the path. Your commitment is the spell, remember. Your soul mission is the cure. Okay? What are the signs you're in a karmic feedback loop? You're getting the same emotion through different circumstances. You keep finding yourself in situations that provoke the exact same emotional storm, whether it be abandonment, betrayal, guilt, powerlessness, no matter the context. Recurring characters with the same role, right? Different faces, same function. Maybe it's not, a boss. Maybe it's a new friend, okay? But they trigger the same wounds, or they mirror the same power dynamics, or they reinforce the same beliefs that you once thought you healed. The next thing is no matter what you try, you can never seem to move beyond a certain level of success, intimacy, or peace. So you're chronically like hitting a ceiling, right? And it's almost like a metaphysical groundhog day at times. It really does feel like that, right? Synchronicities that sting, right? Life keeps showing you the repeating numbers, the animals, the symbols or names that seem to be nudging you to pay attention, but you feel off or unsettled when they appear. Next is unexplainable exhaustion or resistance, like soul weary, right? Not just tired. Tired is everybody's tired, right? Nowadays. But we're talking about like soul exhaustion. Doing certain things feels like pushing a boulder uphill, and other areas mysteriously collapse the moment that you make progress. Deja vu with a side of dread. You ever feel like you've lived this moment before, but instead of comfort, it brings unease. And then your body remembers a soul pattern, even your mind doesn't. So, how do we understand them? To decode any loop, you got to shift from victim consciousness to archetypal awareness. Okay? So, what theme keeps showing up? Okay, maybe it's rejection, maybe it's control, maybe it's feeling invisible. Whatever it is for you, notice what theme keeps showing up. What identity do I play when this theme is cast in the movie, right? When there is a situation of control, how does my autopilot character behave in this situation? Does it put on the martyr role? Is it a rebel? Is it a people pleaser? Does it become an orphan again? What happens when this loop gets magnified? You're in it. So, and what core belief keeps getting reinforced? Is it people can't be trusted? Is it I'm not good enough? What is it? What is the actual core belief, right? The loop is always trying to get you to feel the very thing you're avoiding. Okay? So you can finally bring it to the surface and dissolve it through love, courage, self-compassion, responsibility. And when you respond differently than you usually would, and you see the lesson instead of the punishment in it, and you reclaim the power you gave away to the original trauma, you will now anchor in your soul mission, not survival programming. Okay? Does this make sense, Mathis? And let me know. You can always send me a message, brother, like if you want to know more about this and the understandings around it, of course. And any of you adepts, you can always send me a message. Just tell me what's up, what's going on. I'm always here to um, be the flow master for planet Earth right now. So I'm here to, if you're feeling stuck, I'm the best person to reach out to. Okay. A lot of people know that because your mind is clinging to a very specific moment, emotion, situation, right? It starts attaching to it so much that your soul feels tethered to it, but it's not. Your soul is free. You see, and I help you recognize this because really start to understand like what you're feeling right now, that low buzz behind the eyes, the kind of, the fatigue that you can't cure with caffeine, right? It's a bioelectric betrayal, is what I was grown to understand, right? We're being hijacked at the frequency level, fam. You weren't born to plug into a machine, you weren't born as the machine, divine biotech, perfectly wired to source. Your liver sings, your kidneys hum, your heart's a drum, okay, of a radiant intelligence. Every organ has its own sonic frequency. This is how I see it as a clairaudient, right? Like everything is just a symphony of sacred oscillation, right? Then we have the false light beings coming in through the EMFs, the Wi-Fi, the 5G, the synthetic current running counter to the creator's pulse. So this isn't some conspiracy, guys. It's an observable esoteric science, and they're just not selling it you devices. They're selling you dissonance, right? Transhumanism, I truly believe, is an Atlantean karmic echo. If you think this is new, it's not. In the last epoch, it was the same script, different players, right? If you have watched the show Pantheon, you know what I'm talking about, okay? Everybody should go watch Pantheon, for real, okay? Right, back then, they weren't just downloading apps. They were just splicing DNA, merging man with beast, summoning, daimons with crystal tech, playing God while forgetting God within. Children of Bill, right? Root archetype of what you call the devil now. They didn't just overstep, they opted out of the divine plan and built a self-referential loop of control, experimentation, and ego exaltation, right? So the Tower of Babel never destroyed, just went underground and got Wi-Fi, right? So evolution requires integration with machine, does it? It's a subtle seduction that's incomplete without tech, right? It masquerades as progress, but anchors you to a parasitic timeline. It says merge with AI, not the I am, right? So the deeper teaching is that the real ascension isn't synthetic, it's magnetic. It's inner alchemy, right? It's not outer augmentation. So conflict isn't failure. Conflict is a feedback loop. Your animal behavior, how animal behavior chart, according to Case Hughes. I don't know, some of you guys have seen this, right? And I keep bringing this up again and again because it's so valuable for you to understand how do you respond when there's conflict. That's how your childhood self would respond. Okay. And it's very beneficial. Like, okay, right? So it says, are you preventing the conflict from happening? Are you connecting so that the conflict becomes less? Are you using a strategy or are you removing yourself from the situation entirely? Once you know your inner code, your childhood wound way of handling conflict, okay, then you know that this conflict has a shadow conflict. This way I handle conflict has a shadow conflict associated with it, right? So if I'm the innocent puppy and I'm always trying to, let's just say, rely on my innocent appearance and gain a protection from the parents, right? So that shadow, there's a shadow, a gremlin, a wolf inside you, right? That shadows that innocent puppy. Are we getting this, guys? Like, so this gives me like a proper understanding towards, conflict is coded in the density, guys. The third density is duality's dojo. You came here to train your will in the middle of noise, right? So we built in the Matrix movies, we built you a paradise and you rejected it, right? Because souls don't evolve in safety, they evolve through choice. Through understanding, I have a choice and a freedom to move in this game, right? Through standing in the battlefield of timelines and saying, I choose the true path. No matter now, I don't care how quiet it looks, no matter how loud that the enemy screams. I'm here to, how do you break free, right? This is the real question. How do you break free? Number one, you track your resonance. If your body feels off, check the environment, not just your emotions. Okay? Scan the environment because this is what we naturally did as hunter-gatherers, guys. And this is how you trigger your amygdala to relax. Because as you're looking for the signs, you're not looking around the place. Don't like make it whimsical and like clockwork, right? Just going like this with your eyes spinning, because that signals a different kind of thing. That's more like confusion. But if you're just general scanning of a room, like downloading, download, right? Just tune it in, notice your baseline and how each thing affects your baseline or your energy. You'll get these little zaps from it. If you're really tuned in and wired in, you will understand this. Okay. Let's say you walk into a specific cafe, everything's going well. Oh, yeah, it suits my vibe. It's kind of jazzy. I like it, and then suddenly something shows up in the environment that triggers my nervous system differently. What's going on there? They're off of my grid, right? They're off of my baseline. And I have to acknowledge that as another being who's trying to enter into the multiplayer game that is my life, right? We forgot we were main characters, and so we keep giving the power away to the situations, others. Too many portals open as with AI and cyber realms. Each interaction with a black mirror, thousands of portals can't even close that much without drain. Had to call in sick today at work. Yep. 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 Absolutely. Absolutely. This is why track your resonance. Uninstall belief malware, right? You are a divine transmitter. You were never meant to be a broken machine. So reclaim your sacred technology, okay? Crystals, toning, magnetics, fasting, light codes. There's a reason they kept this from you. Earth is your charger, not your phone, right? Damn, I just have to live right next to traffic. You see, this is how they trigger the clairaudience within me to put me into a bunch of noise for years and years until my mind mellows it out and makes it almost like background music to my musical. You guys see that? Like that flame, the frame that flips the flame, right? Demons back to hell, right? An assignment, absolutely. Send them all back. Send them all back. They ain't ready. They ain't ready for this realm, bruh. All right. So, yeah, Earth is your charger, not your phone. And remember, service to all, not just self. Because once you slip too far into self-service, you do become a servant to the shadow of self. You do, and you can feel it instantly, right? It's a masochistic matrix mimicry. It's not the real deal, right? You think you're buying real bagels? Man, these are like cardboard cutouts, okay? Oh man, really? Right? But when it's benefit to all, right? Like I show up today to just give value on this topic without wanting anything, achieving any hidden agenda. I didn't come here to, you know, collect cool points and like, let's make this cultural, guys. No, I show up, you plug into source, not the circuit. And always remember, evolution was never about upgrades, it was always about remembrance. Okay? We keep talking about upgrades, spiritual upgrades, but it's always been about the deep core memory within that already knows. We're activating that understanding and we're merging it back with our intuition and our knowingness again. It's quite tough because our logical mind tries to come in and be like, this is the only way, and the linear path is the only path, right? And so it creates like a limit around our mind's capacity. Mathis, if you can go into this book, brother, it's been a deep code within me for days. Um, it's the idea of like the subconscious fear and the guilt that we hold within ourselves causes this feeling of like allergies, sickness, issues showing up, flare-ups in the skin, right? All of this stuff is through the mindset and the belief systems. And if you can trace it back into the consciousness science, so I believe the book's name is Healing and Recovery by David R. Hawkins. See if you can check that out, brother, because I got this download recently from Will Darude, um, who had taught us that kind of matrix of how the nervous system affects the entities and so forth, like how you attract certain entities into your life based on your how you are in the astral. Like if you're in the lower astral or middle astral or higher astral, you really bring in those particular beings and situations, right? That will show up related to that. So from him, I got that download, but then in a recent, I think this was not a recent video. I just went and found his YouTube. And he's speaking on this topic. Um, and that was his code, that was his key. And I use the same key to now unlock my understandings of what I've known about it for so many years, right? I understand that I have many, many issues with my physical body, with my health and so forth, but I've been able to understand that my body's going to be okay. I'm safe anyway. My health will handle it because it always has, right? A wound that you cut heals, right? And so the body's natural confidence or that capacity, Wim Hof is, he says it's the sixth sense, actually. The confidence is our sixth sense, an ability to believe in yourself and your mission and your drive and your dharma in the direction of your life. That's going to blast out any other noise or fear or negativity, right? In your field. So this is what we're really trying to understand is track your resonance, uninstall the belief malware, reclaim the sacred tech, right? Return to the organic grid. Remember, it's synthetic timeline versus an organic one, right? And it's going back and forth. And then once we slip too far into our own self-service, we go, nah, man, I can't just serve the shadow of self anymore. I've got to expand into the light, right? Let me get seen, right? That's the biggest fear. Oh, they will see me for who I really am. But that's the ego, man. You see what I'm saying? Let them see me, how they see me. What is that to me? That's their perception of me. That's not really who I am. Who I really am is undefinable. From a finite human mind, I try to put these pieces together, right? Now, some may say that the mind is infinite, right? The collective or whatever. But there's a limit to its capacity, right? Throughout the day and so forth. So you really want to use your brain. You want to have that gut brain axis, man. As above, so below. You know what I'm saying? As the brain, so the gut. So you're getting gut issues. I'm also getting gut issues, stomach issues. It's because the brain is firing it. And the more I will start to recognize that law of I will handle it. I've got this. That I've got this energy starts to carry you out of the dungeon, right? At times when this thing is happening, that I've got this, bro, right? Like you turn from a why me victim consciousness to a focus consciousness, like try me, right? Oh, they think we're all love and light and we're like Care Bears over here, but then try and test us. We're spiritually strapped. Okay? That's the energy. And we've got to understand the resonance of this, the truth of this, the understanding that echoes beyond this earth realm. Yes, sync. Subconscious guilt has to be lived through as if it's never cleared. Yeah. And also, many spiritual practitioners deny these emotions and then the guilt on top. Mm. Yeah. Yep. 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 Let me see what the Nexus has to say about that. Hmm. I just saw a pair of handcuffs and it's like disguised as a halo. Woo, they make me laugh sometimes, man. I'll share with you something, says Mathis. The 144 portals I had to close yesterday and how I felt shit after it, as it's a process and the mental residue gets translated by the instrument or the body. Ah, interesting. Interesting. So here's how the trap works, right? You feel guilt, and instead of alchemizing it, they tell you that's ego. Just let it go, right? You'll feel grief, and then they'll say you're not your story. You feel rage, and then that's low vibration. Just don't go there, right? And so what does this do? It shames your primal system, yo. It suppresses your nervous energy, right? It castrates your inner animal and the emotional alchemist and the true healer, the holy animal, the one that heals. Is therefore to show up as providence, right? So instead, your guilt is the fire that burns away your pride. Your tears, every time you cry, you make it an offering to a deva or devi, right? Or your cries become mantras. The sobs become metaphorical each time. It becomes a song. And your madness becomes music in Krishna's courtyard. You don't feel deeply. You don't awaken deeply. If you numb guilt, you're going to numb grace too. It's the job for ourselves, says the Nexus, is not to kill the emotion, it's to consecrate it. Okay? Very powerful. Thank you for that question, brother, and your reflections on this. Very powerful topic. So remember, if these grids are showing up, okay, recurring characters, synchronicity that sting you, deja vu, all this stuff showing up, remember, say yes to your soul's encoded trajectory. Okay? Remember, your karma is here to train you. Okay? To help you recognize and recognize, right? Helping you recognize your sacred patterns instead of being at the effect of it. So I asked myself this today, what part of my soul's curriculum am I skipping class on? And I got an immediate answer. I got an immediate answer. Okay. So just follow those gentle nudges from the questions that you ask. Enter a meditative state. right? The divine isn't always just found in a temple, a church, or a mosque. It's also found in the little moments, okay? The micro moments of connection, of joy that light you up, that silence the mind. The ego mind identity just shuts off. You go, I don't know and I don't care. Emotional body and mental body heals at once. One sentence. At least for that moment, right? Brings it down, alchemizes it. You feel anxiety, your throat closing up. You go, and you understand, you sit with it. What's beautiful about this suppressed speech starts to let go. You see, because I accepted it. I embraced whatever resistance there was. So if I'm feeling resistance right now in my body, I welcome it. I bring it up to my heart space to recycle, right? I bring it into my solar plexus and I'll transmute it like a furnace fire through the fire of my solar plexus deity, Janus. So I have the technology now to bring these energies through my energy body, right? The emotions, the energy in motion through my energy body, and then transmute them. But this has happened with a lot and lot of practice, a lot of daily check-ins, right? Just like constantly muscle testing for so many years, right? Until it becomes an intuitive mechanism, right? So I urge all adepts to lean into their own intuition and truly learn what works for them. What is their resonance teaching them, right? Where am I outsourcing my power? Mm, there we go. An answer immediately, right? But then you can also say, why have these sacred vows kept me on my toes so elegantly and effectively, right? You can easily turn it positive to an affirmation that implies your success rather than your weakness, your pity, your failure, right? Because failure, what is failure? It's not even in my dictionary. It's like, it's just feedback from life. You didn't get some opportunity. This is what I was telling Ryan G is, he was saying I got rejected. It's like the nexus is that I got redirected, right? To something that wasn't serving me to my resonance again, my baseline again, something that actually will service me and the planet. So it creates this this individuality through the duality out into the collective humanity. But then it's also not just humanity, it's the divinity that is protecting us. You see? This is how I have begun to understand it. Let's get it today. Upward spiral, gang. May we never be the same again. Om Shanti 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 Swaha. Let's get it. Upward spiral. May we never be the same again. You already know what it is. Upward. We already are like one of the greatest metaphysical connoisseurs of this century, of this day and age. I truly believe it. Okay, guys. So bring your metaphysical multi-dimensional renaissance movement back, right? Let it come alive at this golden timeline shift. It's really happening. Everything is being, pressure is up, right? That's what it feels like. It's like a lot of the things we've been suppressing and pushing down are coming up right now, bubbling up into the surface again, so that we can transmute it, so that we can double down on our golden timeline. And here we go once again. May we never be the same again. Let's win. Ossa, let's